looking more around you and see even more and noticing even more glimmers in their lives, and that other people have other glimmers. Oh dear.
In a couple of words, I'm intercultural coach and facilitator, but I'm also an active practitioner and a promoter of the solution-focused approach.
I'm Julia Kalenberg from Switzerland, founded my own company 25 years ago, came across the solution-focused approach 15 years ago, and I'm accompanying teams and individuals in all different kinds of industries.
Before we start, we would like to invite you for a glimmering hunt. It's an easy exercise, and actually what you have to do, you have to take your mobile phone, and that's why you need the mobile phones for this session. You find a photo in your gallery that evokes in you a feeling of warmth, joy, happiness, or deep satisfaction. You pause there at this photo and you think of that moment when it was taken. What was special about it? Why does it still stand out for you? You share your photo then in a minute in the breakout rooms with your colleagues, and you share the story. And then you listen to their story.
How was this exercise for you? What happened?
Okay, yeah. I will start. It was such a beautiful exercise. It made me cry from joy, and because I had a friend here. I'll show you the picture. Mm-hmm. And we went around Switzerland and like Italy and France and Germany. And that's a picture in Disneyland. And it was 2 months of pause between a long burnout phase and the death of my dad. Mm. And going back to the pictures just opened my heart, and I can feel the pain about the loss of my dad, and I can feel the happiness about the time I spent with my friend. Thank you so much for that beautiful exercise.
Thank you so much for sharing, Caroline. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is so interesting that you said that both things that are probably extremes can be combined together, like happiness and pain. Yeah, and sometimes you do not separate one from each other, but still, yeah. Thank you very much. It's a very powerful story. Yeah. So maybe we've got some comments also in the chat, even if it is a couple of words. How was it for you? Just share. Does it make any difference in your morning or afternoon or evening?
It made me like really happy because I came across a picture again of a friend and it reminded me of the absurdity of that situation where the picture was taken, and it made me laugh because I was thinking back to this situation, and it like brightened my morning quite a bit. So thank you.
So, yeah. Wow.
So now the right time probably for us to share how we encountered glimmers, where we met glimmers and how we started to practice. For me, the story started maybe a year and a half ago when I came across a very, very short 3 minutes video of Deb Dana, clinical social worker, who actually introduced the concept of glimmers. And she said that we are not talking great, big, expensive experiences of joy or safety or connection. These are micro moments that begin to shape our system in very gentle ways. And it impressed me somehow. And I said, no, this is not something very new. So we all knew how to glimmer before. But at the same time, she brought an important aspect of glimmering. So it was amazing. And actually, I decided that I will start to glimmer immediately. We wanted to share about how glimmers are different from triggers. So they are not opposite, but glimmers are still different. And as I said, I'm not going to read it through, but in our presentation, it will stay and you can consult the slide anytime. Also, I thought that glimmering fits perfectly well within the solution-focused approach framework, because it's all about shifting the focus of attention, exercising noticing for emotional healing, and creating micro moments that sparkles a meaningful preferred change. So that's how it started for me, and I immediately decided that I will do the Glimmers diary. So now I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 pages, and these are very short entries of what I have experienced during the day. I can just enter this entry any time of the day. It's not necessarily in the evening or in the morning, but when I see something that really resonates with me deeply, I just register that in my Glimmers diary. And that serves me always a very good resource, especially when life doesn't treat you very nicely sometimes, you know. So this is how the story started and continues for me and for you, Julia.
Well, I had the chance to meet you at the Soul World Conference in Mechelen last May. I attended your workshop on glimmering, and it resonated so much with me. First, I thought it resonated very much with me because it brought to mind what I had been doing already. You remembered that I had been doing for myself the bean experiment already, counting the beautiful moments during the day. And I had shared that with teams also, and in coaching, and with myself and friends and family. And what was new to me, and it went much deeper and different than the bean experiment, was perceiving the glimmers with all the 5 senses. So, yeah, you can, like you explained it at the conference, you can see a glimmer, beautiful landscape, or this flower in the early sunrise, or you can smell a glimmer, a beautiful rose. You can hear a glimmer, hear your favorite sound of music or a bird singing, or you can taste the glimmer, a favorite dish, or here on this picture you see a photograph taken of a favorite jam which my grandmother used to make, and whenever I spread a piece of bread with this jam, it reminds me so much of my grandmother. Or you can touch and feel a glimmer. Yeah, what was new to me is the 5 senses for the glimmers, and also the possibility to set an intention, to really wake up in the morning and say, and also today I will experience glimmers, and also stop and pause to really take it in with your full body. So I was really so excited about the glimmers which Victoria presented, that I began to add it to my coaching and training practice. On the left side, you see a flip chart for a team workshop I did, and I invited in the beginning, I told about the glimmers and invited participants to notice during the workshop the glimmers that they would perceive. And before I got to know the glimmers, I had done this as a bean experiment in workshops, and I would quickly like to share a story with you, so to help you understand what the bean experiment was. There is a story of an old farmer who, when he starts his day in the morning, he puts 5 dry beans in his pocket, in his left trouser pocket, and for everything he notices, for every beautiful encounter or everything that he likes, he takes one bean and puts it into the other trouser pocket. And in the evening, he counts the beans. So before I got to know the glimmers, I had always invited participants during a workshop, for example, to count their beans, their sparkling moments during a workshop. For example, have a closer look at what inspired me or what strengthened me during a workshop. I enriched this exercise and invited people to also count the glimmers. And you also see these tiny little cards which say, enjoy your glimmers. And that's something that I might give to an individual client in a coaching session to remind them of the glimmer exercise, and they can put it into their wallet, for example. What I do now is I tell people when I have such a nice encounter with somebody, for example, here you see a photograph. I was in the restaurant of the train in Switzerland, and this lady to my right, she was so friendly, and I said to her, "Thanks a mil for your nice service." And she said, "Thank you 2 mil, grazie 2 mila," she said in Italian. And I was so pleased and handed over a smiley stone to her and said, "That was a real glimmer moment you gave to me." And so this is like creating a ripple effect when I share what other people, how other people make a glimmer moment for me. I would like to ask you, Victoria, is glimmering also possible in difficult moments?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to say I do hope that everyone, and I always enjoy your glimmering stories, Julia, because and you always invent something new. So every time when you write to me about a glimmer, the next glimmering story, I'm smiling, and it creates a glimmering story for me as well. And yeah, thank you. This is a very good question, of course, because sometimes people think that if everything is more or less all right in life, then you can easily notice these moments, which I do not actually believe, because we're going to discuss that a little bit later. You can train your brain, yeah, to notice. But if you do not train your brain, you can just go pass away from all the glimmering moments in your life, which is a pity, of course. Yeah, but is it easier to notice glimmers in real life when everything is all right in your life? Or is it more difficult to pay attention to them when life is more difficult for you? I doubt. I think that if you get used to noticing glimmers around you, then it doesn't really matter in which circumstances you are, or maybe even if you are in the dark times, you are happier to notice glimmers around you. I was happy, and I was a little bit surprised to see that in the All-Ukrainian National Mental Health Program, which is called How Are You?, there is a chapter about glimmers. So obviously it is very important for the mental health. And of course, I have got my own collection of glimmers in dark times from different people here in Ukraine. And there could be different stories. For instance, if we have a heavy night of shelling, and then in between of bombing, the birds start singing, and the person says, you know, there was a little pause between two bombs, but I've heard the birds singing, and that was amazing. Yeah. Or it could be something like, I know you like this story when a mom says that, you know, after very difficult time or day, I remember the moment when I practiced the teddy bear breathing with my little daughter. And okay, of course, you don't know what is the teddy bear breathing, and I will show that with you. This is how we teach our children to become resilient, yeah, to to be more balanced after difficult situations, difficult moments in life, then you have to lie down and you have to take a teddy bear or any other toy. You put that on your tummy and on the tummy of your child, and you breathe so that you can breathe in a certain rhythm, of course, so that you see when the teddy bear comes up and comes down. This is just one of many exercises we have been using here. And this could be also a glimmering moment. Or like on this photo, you see a soldier. And this is the common story, because especially on the territories that were occupied or are occupied sometimes, or near the front line, there might be some stray dogs and cats, and the soldiers, they pick them up and they become the members of the teams. And this is the moment when you grab this little cat. It is a glimmering moment for you. So there are plenty of opportunities to practice glimmering also in dark times, and actually it's very healthy. So that's what we would like to suggest you as a next exercise. This is glimmer journaling for dark times. And for this exercise, you will need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. This is an individual exercise that will last about 3 to 4 minutes, we think. You don't go to the breakout rooms. You work just individually. So think about a dark time of your life, whatever you believe the dark time is. And then think, what was a small moment? Because even during the dark times, there are always small moments that brings you a sense of calm and strength and connection. So think about this moment or these moments and just reflect by writing on your piece of paper. You can also, of course, draw pictures or whatever you like to do with that. So this is the task. Is the task clear? Hopefully so. With me. For instance, a relief that something has ended. Is it a glimmer or not? So, especially, I will tell you that I will share this story with you, but the story is not very, it's a sad story, actually. A friend of mine who is now 84 years old, he lost his wife, but his wife was ill for many years, and she had to stay in bed, and he was taking care of her. And of course, when she passed away, he experienced, many feelings of different kinds. And when I asked him about, like, in this situation, what glimmers to you? How do you feel these moments? Because it's not always dark. There are some moments that it's a little bit better. Yeah. And he said, sometimes I think that I should not think that, but sometimes I think that, the story has ended and it's awful, but still I feel a little bit like released from all these obligations and opportunities. And you know what I mean? Yeah. And he said, I don't know if it is a kind of glimmer or not, but for me, this is very important as well. Yeah. This is this sad story, but then I was thinking, okay, so these feelings of relief that something has ended, even if you're not happy that it ended. So is it a glimmer or is it something else? And how could you describe that? What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, when I wrote this book of mine about death and dying, I had quite a few interviews with people who lost their parents. Maybe they had been in hospital or in a caring nursing home before, and they had been thinking and worrying about them for quite a while. And then when the loved one passed away, they felt relief, and they didn't dare to say that. They felt ashamed. So
Yes.
maybe this goes a little bit into the direction you mentioned.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. But of course, there are many more happier stories about glimmering in difficult times, you know. So I shared some, but I've got plenty of them. I've got a special page for those. Not necessarily mine, but also just shared memories as well. For instance, one of the latest was we were in a jazz concert, and that was a concert of students of the conservatory together with his professor. And then in the middle of the concert, the electricity disappeared, which happens often because we do not have electricity for hours and hours, as you know. And then all the people who were sitting there, the audience who was sitting there in the darkness, they started to applaud. And so the applauses, you know, they continued until the moment when the electricity is back. So that was for quite some time. So I took a very little video about that as well, because I think this is also, you know, the moment when you feel like shared glimmering. Yeah.
I'm just currently working with a person that is suffering from agoraphobia, and the person, she's a woman. She expressed the will to be more in the present. So I can see there's this very simple exercise to do together, looking at the picture and etc. What it is to be more noticing and to develop this habit of noticing with this very simple thing, sharing in a session. I can imagine I can do that right next week.
Actually, thank you for bridging us to the next slide, right, Julia?
Yeah.
Because that is what we wanted to discuss, how to train your brain to glimmer, because this is possible. It's a skill, it's a muscle that you can train, right?
And what I find extremely useful is in the morning when getting up already, then setting an intention and invite glimmers into my life. So really be grateful, be thankful already in the beginning of the day that glimmers will happen again. And as we noticed or heard from Victoria, even in dark times.
Yes. And then when you go through your day and you notice or you feel or you taste or whatever, so when you notice glimmers or you experience glimmer with all your 5 or 6 or 7 senses, then you allow yourself to stop, maybe even for a second, and to slow down a little bit, to really take and invite this glimmer into your life.
And I think it also makes a difference to anchor it to your senses and really, for example, again, the jam of my grandmother's, the smell, and then say to myself, oh, what a beautiful smell, and really anchor it to one of the senses makes a difference.
Absolutely, because acknowledging what is happening in your body at this time helps you to somehow connect what you experience and how you feel it through your body. Yeah. And as we say with Julia, so you can start with just 1 glimmer per day, but then you will never stop, because when you start glimmering, it becomes a habit. So does it look like a good new idea to you today?
So, as for wrapping up our session, we would like to ask you here in plenary, opening up your microphones and sharing with the group, sharing with all of us what glimmered for you in our conversation today.
Yeah. This is because we always discuss when people talk to each other, there are some moments when they really feel deeply connected. And by recognizing this moment and also sharing these moments and just, telling a person, you know, this is something that really deeply resonates with me, or when you were speaking about that, I felt this and that, is a very healthy habit for conversation, whether they are private conversations or professional conversations. So this is now our question to you. So was there anything in our conversations today that glimmered for you? And if so, then what is it? I would like to say that you can read the article about practice and glimmers in the solution-focused journal. And there we also discuss a topic, glimmer of hope, because we know this expression, yeah, glimmer of hope. Because in every day, even if it is not very easy day for you, there is also a hope that glimmers to you. Yeah. Okay.
Anything
Now,
else?
can I stop sharing, but we still have some time to share our own stories and impressions of today or any other day, or maybe about the glimmers you have already encountered.